Good Thursday morning, everyone. This is Mary Elizabeth with Sacred Love Tarot. I hope this reading finds you well. Thank you for turning up and tuning in, for liking, subscribing, commenting, and hitting the notification button. Everything you do here helps this channel grow and is greatly, greatly appreciated. So today's reading is going to be a little bit different. This isn't a pick a card. This is pretty much past life and life purpose. So we're going to lay out the past life cards. We're going to talk about them. We're going to go into depth with them. We are going to talk about the life purpose cards, go in depth with them, see if possibly what from your past life could be holding you back in this lifetime. And then we are going to use the Cosmic Dancer and the Shaman's Dream Oracle as guidance for where you are now and moving forward. Again, thank you so very much for turning up and tuning in, for liking, subscribing, commenting, hitting the notification button, and sharing. So here we go. So we're going to put these aside, and we are going to lay out before us the past life. So keep in mind, this could resonate with you. Any of it resonates with you. None of it resonates with you. A little bit of it resonates with you. That's okay. It's all right. This isn't going to be for everybody. If it does, please comment. What part of any of these past lives do you think that you played in? As we go through, I will tell you a little bit about a few of mine. So the first card we have is authority figure. So perhaps you were authority figure at one time, perhaps a judge, a lawyer, a police officer, someone who other people came to for maybe advice, the high courts, the court council, people in your community who made decisions on behalf of everyone else. You know, back in the day, there were those communities that even though you kind of dictated what happened in your house, when you were out of your house, it was authority figures that commanded and dictated everything that you did. And there were punishments for stepping out of line or stepping on your, stepping out of your lane. So you could have been an authority figure, a high priestess, or a priest in your community or a village or a city. You know what? I really don't think it would have been a city. I think it would have been more like a community, more like, in my head, I'm just seeing a lot of trees, a lot of green, a lot of growth. So if you were maybe in your past life a tribal person or tribal people that had those high priest or priestess, someone that someone would go to for spirit, not only spiritual knowledge, but guidance in your everyday life. We have food and hunger. So perhaps you were someone who's of low birth, who could only afford to eat what your family provided to you. Every society has that pecking order. We have the rich, the rich, the rich. We have the people who work. And then we have the people who, through their ancestral homage, did not, were always poor and always had to live off the land. And sometimes they shared, that they had big families. So the food that they shared wasn't a lot to go through, to get around to every member of the family. So there was hunger there. There was poverty there. There was very high death rate there. We also have Atlantis. So perhaps you were authority figure or a high priestess in the city of Atlantis. Perhaps that you were on the low side of the pecking order here in Atlantis. I don't believe Atlantis was an underwater city. I think it was a very high functional society when it was above water. A very high functional society that probably had its authority figures and its high priests and priestesses, and also most likely a society order from, you know, the rich to the poverty. So there was communal living that was going on here, helping others. Perhaps how you got your food was by helping others build, helping others sow the seeds, helping others plant, helping others repair. So we also have vows. So the vows and the high priestess, I feel, kind of go together. Also the authority figure, the high priestess being someone who people would go to for that spiritual advice, or for spells, or for medicine, or for, you know, what does this outcome look like? Well, I hope they were, you know, if somebody from the communal living went to the high priestess and asked, do we have to worry about anything jeopardizing our city? And they said no. Well, we know that was wrong. Well, let's hope that didn't happen here. And I think it's interesting that we only have one city. You know, I mean, in this deck, I believe that there are a lot of different areas. And I think it's interesting that we don't have soldiers, and we don't have farming, and we don't have this. We have, it's very prominent that Atlantis was the basis of this reading, and the high priest or priestess was that authority figure, and the vows that you took was to be a part of this community, be a part of this communal living, and your payment for your advice that is given for what it is that you do could have been anything from food to riches. So you never went hungry. You never had to worry about a place to live. You never had to worry about being destitute or poor, because, you know, you were the one that people depended on when it came to the weather, when it came to the crops, when it came to their own lives, you know, getting that. And if you were a part of the nobility, I mean, it was everything from, you know, the baby being born and what sex or when or what best time to do this. So if you were that high priest or priestess, you were dependent on a lot and protected a lot in your community, because your ability to see, your ability to go within. Now what's weird about it was, probably in the same community, you were also judged by many, and probably also by the authority figures, who most likely went to you to get advice, but in secret, right? In secret. So you have the authority figures who are going to you in secret, but you also have the authority figures who are hanging you, or drowning you, or scarlet lettering you, and or however their society dealt with people who pushed away from the normal faith and turned toward a more spiritual enlightenment kind of calling. And there were most likely vows of poverty, or vows of chastity, or vows of giving up riches, or giving up everyday items. So the food and the hunger would have been sparse to you if you were someone who took the vows of poverty, or took the vows of chastity, or who took the vows of not holding on to worldly goods. So this is kind of what I feel from the past life. Perhaps you were an authority figure, a high priest or priestess. Perhaps you lived in the city of Atlantis, and you you flourished well in communal living. You helped with the gardens, you helped with the children, you helped with building and repairing, you helped with moving during the seasons. And perhaps this vow that you took was to help everyone that you could. And your penance, I guess, is to relinquish all of your worldly goods and take the burdens that would be put on others by going hungry, or by giving up all your worldly goods, etc., etc. I don't want to beat that dead horse, but yeah. So this is the past life. If you were an authority figure, if you were a high priest or priestess that other people went to get an insight on their future, on wars or children or marriages or the cosmos or the stars or kind of anything like that. And you could have taken, not as the high priestess, taken a vow, because I think that people in the community that you lived in during this time of being a high priestess, I think they looked toward you so much that they wouldn't have wanted to see you hungry or taking vows of poverty or chastity, though you would have taken vows in some way to establish the title of high priest or priestess, right? So it may not have been a church of God, but it would have been some sort of church or religion during that time. I don't think that there were a lot of traveling priestesses or high priest. I think that they were very much needed and accepted and on the down low by communities or cities or the word tribe keeps coming up a lot in my head. So so wanted and needed, and I don't think that they would have allowed you to go, to go hungry or be in a place of poverty because of what you were able to express to them from your visions or your connection to a higher source, right? So, but if that prediction or premonition was wrong, then that's a whole nother story. And depending on who you were associating with, then you could have ended up dead or thrown out. So there is also that. So I think the vows has a lot to do with a different type of church, probably maybe a Christian society of communal living, to where you vowed to be there for others, to help others, to give a lot of yourself to the community for not much in return. So this is your past life. This is a past life, y'all's past life, the past lives. So let's see how we are going to go into the life purpose. So one of your life purposes could have been teaching, inspiring people. I want to move this here. Inspiring people, helping people. Your vows of chastity, your vows of poverty, your vows of hunger, your vows of being a part of this society and helping others could have been inspirational. So in this lifetime, you sit in a position that is inspirational to others. You're being asked to let go of those vows, right? Let go of that destitute mindset or that lack of mindset. You were most likely a builder or are a builder or looking to build, to create Creating brings a sense of accomplishment. And I think that in your past life, if you were a builder, because it brought you such a sense of accomplishment, I think that in this lifetime, you work with your hands, and the work that you do, it could be very backbreaking work, or but is satisfying work because you take pride in what you do. Um, we have justice. So perhaps in a past life you were an authority figure, and in this life you were also an authority figure. We have the card, not the word, animals. So perhaps in the city of Atlantis or in the community, you were someone who worked with animals, was able to um, train animals, or you had a lot of animals. You could have had a little circus. And don't laugh, because back in the day, even in the Egyptian times, they had shows that included different types of exotic and wonderful animals. So you could have been a person who trained animals, who worked with animals. You could have been, or could be now in this lifetime, a person who loves to work with animals, a healer, a person who adopts, animals and takes care of them. So we also have sensitivity. So if in the past life you were a high priestess, in this life you are probably becoming more sensitive to the spiritual changes around you. If you were an authority figure, you're probably an authority figure in this life. Someone who is fair, someone who brings fairness and protection to others. We also have light and love. I want to put that there. Your divine purpose is to bring divine healing light to the world. So yeah, I like that with the sensitivity card. So if you were a high priestess, you're probably very sensitive to the spiritual goings on around you. And your goal in life is to bring love and light and guidance to the world around you. If you did take vows, in this lifetime, you are probably a teacher. You are probably someone who inspires others. If you lived in this communal living, you are probably a builder in this lifetime. Atlantis, probably work with animals. You probably take care of them. You probably, before they're adopted, they live in your home. You're very close. You're very connected. You're being guided to let go of those vows of poverty. They no longer serve you in this lifetime, where there is a world of abundance and you're able to stand in your own power and your own individuality. And then we have time to decide. So it's time to make a decision. Make a decision to let go of those vows of poverty. Make a decision to let go of those vows of hunger and lack of. Make a decision that it's time to start building where you are right now and start inspiring others by teaching what it is that you know, and letting go of those soul contracts, right? And the justice card is bringing fairness and protection to those around you and those who may need it at this time. We have you in a position of taking the lead, right? Taking the lead, standing in a position of authority, taking the lead, moving forward in your life, not allowing others to dictate or determine your path, or where you are, or what you're doing. So take the lead in your life. Sparkle and shine. Allow that individuality to come out and really, really shine. Really, show who you are. You've come from a long line of priests and priestess, gods and goddesses, and you have this sensitivity to the energy of spirituality around you. So at this point in time, you could be a channeler, you could be a reader, you could be a psychic, you could be someone who is very in tune. So you're being guided to allow that to shine, and the more you shine, the more people come to you to the more people come to you and are connected to you, the more people it is that you can help with what it is that you do. So you're also maybe a channel. You channel energies from above and below. You channel past loved ones. You channel messages from spirit, source, other beings or entities or energies in the universe. Be ecstatic with where you are. Be ecstatic with what you have to offer. Be ecstatic that you are no longer held to the contracts of vows of poverty or hunger or or lack of, right? You're in a position now to be able to create such greatness in your life. There is no need to continue in this lifetime to be in a place of destitute, or be in a place of uncertainty, or be in a place of lack of, because you have everything at your fingertips. And you being so much in your head about the vows that you have taken in your past or past lives is unnecessary in this lifetime. So it's time to play. It's time to have fun. It's time to let go and be you. Teach others what you know. Take the lead of your own life. Let go of all of this contractual obligations. Cut cords, and collaborate with others. There may be others just like you who may have been in a position of the vows of poverty or chastity, or the vows of giving up all your worldly goods. And in this lifetime, now you come from a place of uncertainty. You come from a place of being, of feeling left out, or a place of destitute. A mindset, maybe. I don't know if that's how you're living at the moment, but it's a mindset of of poverty, right? It's that generational poverty mindset from, you know, perhaps your parents or your grandparents or your great-grandparents in another life signed these vows as well. So in that life you did too, because it was what was expected of you. And now in this lifetime the generational poverty continues, because you don't know that in those past lifetimes, you know, it was also there. So you have the potential of breaking the wheel. You have the potential of changing this all up. You have the potential of being the first in your family to cut those contractual vows or obligations that you made in past lives, and really start to celebrate this life. You're being guided to sit still and meditate. Spirit is offering you a helping hand, so you're being guided to take that. Rise above, you know, we talked about that generational poverty through lifetimes. You're being asked to, as you sit in meditation and stillness, to rise above that chaos, to rise above what you think you are, or what you think you don't deserve. Rise above that and step into what you do deserve. Empty all of that shit out. It's time to empty that well, and time to replenish it with happiness, with abundance, with manifestation, with joy, with greatness, with beauty, with all of these wonderful things that Spirit Source is offering you at this time. There is no need, and it's a new beginning. So I like this visual because we talk about emptying the well, and we have all of this coming out, right? We're removing a lot of things from the mindset of what no longer serves us, and we're starting with a fresh breath. We're starting with something new. We're starting with replenishment, because we were able to extend our hand to the universe and allow the universe to help us to get where we desire to go. So if you have taken those vows in a past life, or signed those soul contracts of poverty, of, the word that comes to my head now is punishment. So if in a past life you did something so bad that you signed your life away, and in return for not meeting the gallows or the guillotine, you decided to give up all your worldly goods, take a vow of poverty, and then live the rest of your life being in service to others, but also going hungry, or going thirsty, or not having clothes to wear or shoes on your feet, and I think you being in this communal society by helping others, they helped you. But there are also people who believe that, you know, if you did bad and this was the decision that you have made to live a life of lack, then you shouldn't be helped in some way, right? So you probably died young, died in pain, because most of your life, or the life that you lived, was one of hunger, was one of thirst, was one of backbreaking work, because you were so much in service to everybody else that they took advantage of that. And you, as the high priestess, if you were a high priestess in your past life, you're still very sensitive. You're still probably channeling. You're still probably expressing that light and love, and very sensitive um, to your past life recollections. It probably transferred very easily in this life, because in the past life, you were someone who knew how to create that energy that you would come over and be reborn with the same energy as you had prior to your death in a past life. So if you were a high priestess, you probably did a little bit of this and did a little bit of that, and tried to reassure that when you were reborn or recreated in the next lifetime, you were just as sensitive to spirit, you were just as sensitive to source, you were just as willing to offer up that feeling of love and light to others, and be one of service to those who need you. Now, in this lifetime, you're not going to be stoned to death. You're not going to be drowned or hanged or buried up to your shoulders, or whatever they did to punish people who turned their back on spirituality or faith and did their own thing. So in this lifetime, that's not happening to you. In this lifetime, you're greatly wanted, needed, and appreciated. If you were someone who was an authority figure in your last lifetime, you're being guided to take the lead in this lifetime, and step back into your power, step back into giving back to others from a place of authority, and stepping into helping others, being fair, and protecting others who may need your help. The communal living and the Atlantis, you were probably a builder. You were probably someone who helped build up this community, or build up this society, someone who was very close to animals, someone who really enjoyed life, enjoyed living, and took pride in everything that you did. And in this lifetime, you're being guided to play a little bit, to go out and have a little bit of fun, to trust spirit and source, that you don't have to work so hard this time. You don't have to break your back. And even though I believe that you enjoyed it, and I believe that everyone appreciated the work that you did, and I believe that everyone was in awe of your ability to create and to take a stone and to make it into something absolutely amazing and beautiful. But it's also time to replenish. It's also time to look for new avenues and new ways to express yourself, be it as a builder or someone who is just full of wonderful and amazing creativity. As far as the food and hunger, you're being guided to kind of let that all go, to cut those ties to cut the vows, to cut those ties of the vows that you created in another life, and be ecstatic that you live in a life right now that allows you to be as abundant as you could have ever imagined. So rise above that mindset of poverty and start fresh, start new. The hand of the universe is being extended to you. Do you take it? Or do you think that because your ancestors went through this poverty mindset, or went through this contractual agreement, perhaps, that you have to go through that too. And would you deny your children and your grandchildren the abundance that the world has to offer? Must they too carry those contracts into their lives? So the moment you decide to cut this cord, the moment that you decide to break this mindset of lack, is the moment that your life changes, is the moment that you step into abundance and prosperity. It's the moment that you start fresh, is the moment that you rise above the chaos and the craziness of your life, is the moment that you take the hand of source and spirit and you empty that well of poverty and you start filling it with abundance and prosperity. So this is it, y'all. I know it's a little bit different, but this is what I felt guided to do. And this is your reading. So let me know if it resonates with you. And thank you for allowing me to do this for you today. And until next time, take care of you. Bye.